Hi, I'm Kristen Bell, and if you know my husband Dax, then you also know he loves shopping for a car. Selling a car? Not so much.
We're really doing this, huh?
Thankfully, Carvana makes it easy. Answer a few questions, put in your VIN or license, and done. We sold ours in minutes this morning, and they'll come pick it up and pay us this afternoon.
Bye-bye, truckie.
Of course, we kept the favorite.
Hello, other truckie.
Sell your car with Carvana today. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to The Common Historian, where we explore the fascinating intersection of history and the unexplained. I'm your host, Jeremy, and today we're taking a journey to one of Europe's most haunted cities, Edinburgh, Scotland. But before we dive into the ghostly tales of the Scottish capital, I have some exciting news to share. This week marks the launch of the Top 100 Haunted Europe Countdown on the Common Historian YouTube channel. We're starting at number 100 with none other than Holyrood House Palace. Yes, the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. If you thought royal palaces were all pomp and ceremony, wait until you hear about the spectral residence that never checked out. Head over to the channel after this episode to catch up on that story. Now, back to Edinburgh, a city where the veil between past and present seem impossibly thin. Picture this.
Here's what I found. What do you want to search for?
Picture this. Medieval close, winding like artistries through the old town. Ancient stones that have witnessed centuries of human drama. And beneath it all, a leviathan of underground chambers that once housed the living, and now, well, there's where our story begins. Edinburgh isn't just haunted, it's practically built on hauntings. The city's unique geography, which with its towering castle perched on an extinct volcano, and the Royal Mile cascading down like a stone waterfall, creates natural pockets where history seems to pool and stagnate. The documented supernatural activities here isn't just extensive, it's systematic. We're talking about consistent reports spanning centuries, witnessed by everyone from medieval merchants to modern day tour guides, from skeptical historians to hardened police officers. Let's start with perhaps the most thoroughly documented haunting in all of Scotland, Greyfriars Kirkyard and the Mackenzie poltergeist. The facts are these. Sir George Mackenzie died in 1691. Known as Bloody Mackenzie, he was responsible for the persecution and execution of over 18,000 Covenanters, Scottish Presbyterians, who refused to accept the king's authority over the church. He was buried in the Black Mausoleum in Greyfriars Kirkyard. For 300 years, his grave remained relatively quiet. Then, in 1999, a homeless man broke into the mausoleum, seeking shelter from a storm. What happened next launched one of the most intensively studied paranormal cases in modern history. The man fled screaming, claiming something had grabbed him. Within days, visitors to the Kirkyard began reporting attacks, scratches, bruises, burns appearing on their skin. People collapsed unconscious. Others were found with finger-shaped bruises around their necks. Here's what makes this case extraordinary: the documentation. Edinburgh City Council has recorded over 500 documented attacks since 1999. Police reports, medical records, witness statements. This isn't folklore, it's a paper trail. Dr. Richard Wiseman of the University of Hertfordshire conducted scientific investigations, noting temperature drops up to 10 degrees Celsius near the mausoleum, with no environmental explanation. Electromagnetic field detectors registered consistent anomalies. Multiple independent film crews have captured unexplained footage. The attack became so frequent that the city actually installed a locked gate around the mausoleum. Think about that. A modern city government taking official action against a 300-year-old ghost. Now let's descend beneath Edinburgh's streets into the closes and vaults that tell the darker side of the city's history. Mary King's Close is perhaps the most famous of Edinburgh's underground streets. Sealed in the 16th century during plague breaks, it remained frozen in time until archaeologists reopened it in the 20th century. The documented phenomenon here are fascinating. Visitors consistently report the same experience in the same location, despite having no prior knowledge of what others have encountered. In the old baker's shop, people smell fresh bread baking. In what was once a child's room, adults report feeling small hands tugging at their clothes. Tour guides account from Mary King Close spans decades and show remarkable consistency. Guides report temperature drops, unexplained sounds, and the sensation of being watched. What's particularly compelling is that these experiences occurred in the same spots, documented by different guides across different time periods. But Mary King's Close isn't unique. Edinburgh's South Bridge vaults present an even more complex paranormal landscape. These chambers were built in the 18th century as storage areas beneath the bridge's arches. They later became slum housing, the city's poorest residents, before being abandoned and forgotten. When they were rediscovered in the 1980s, they came with their own supernatural residents. The phenomenon in the vaults are so consistent that researchers have mapped them. The Watchers, a malevolent presence that visitors report in Chamber 3. The Cobbler, the sound of someone working on shoes in Chamber 1, where historical records show a cobbler once worked. The temperature anomalies that occurred in specific chambers, documented by multiple independent research teams. No discussion of Edinburgh hauntings would be complete without the crown jewels, Edinburgh's castle itself. The castle sits atop Castle Rock, a site that has been consistently occupied for over 3,000 years. That's 3 millennia of human emotion, trauma, and death concentrated on one volcanic outcrop. If places can absorb psychic imprints, this location should be positively saturated. The documented phenomenon at Edinburgh castles read like a paranormal inventory. The headless drummer boy, first reported in 1650 and seems consistent ever since, always appearing before attacks on the castle. Historical records show this apparition appeared before Oliver Cromwell's siege, and again before the Jacobite uprisings. The castle's dungeon presents their own supernatural ecosystem. French prisoners from the Seven Years' War were held in the castle's depths, many dying from starvation and disease. Their presence is still felt, literally. Visitors report being touched by invisible hands, hearing French voices, and experiencing overwhelming sensations of despair in specific cells. What makes these accounts credible is that their consistency across centuries and their correlation with historical records. The location where phenomenon occur align perfectly with areas of documented historical trauma. Castle staff, people who work there daily and have no interest in promoting ghost stories, regularly report experiences. The castle's official position acknowledges these reports while maintaining professional neutrality. Here's where Edinburgh's hauntings become particularly interesting from a research perspective. The sheer volume of documented cases has attracted serious scientific attention. Dr. Jason Brathwaite from the University of Birmingham has conducted extensive electromagnetic field studies in Edinburgh's haunted locations. His findings show consistent anomalies that correlate with reported paranormal activity. Areas with high EMF readings consistently produce more supernatural reports. The University of Edinburgh Psychological Department has studied the consistencies of these paranormal reports across Edinburgh's locations. Their research shows that people report remarkably similar experiences in the same location, even when they have no prior of what others have experienced. Temperature studies conducted by multiple independent research teams show consistent cold spots in specific locations. These aren't drafts or natural air currents. They're localized temperature drops that occur in the same spots repeatedly. What we're seeing in Edinburgh isn't just a collection of ghost stories. It's a documented pattern of consistent phenomenon occurring in locations with verified historical trauma. The correlation between historical records and paranormal reports is too strong to dismiss. Let me share you some specific accounts that illustrate the ongoing nature of the Edinburgh's supernatural activities. In 2018, tour guide Margaret Campbell was leading a group through the Greyfriars Kirkyard when a visitor, a complete skeptic who had been making jokes about the ghost stories, suddenly collapsed near the Mackenzie Mausoleum. When she regained consciousness, she had deep scratches on her back that had not been there moments before. The incident was witnessed by 15 people and documented by the paramedics who treated her. Police Constable James Morrison filled an official report in 2020 describing his experience while investigating a break in at Mary King's Close. He reported hearing children's laughing in a sealed chamber, seeing unexplained lights, and feeling someone grab his shoulder in an empty corridor. His partner collaborated the account. These aren't ancient legends. These are contemporary reports from credible witnesses doing their jobs. The Edinburgh Paranormal Research Society has received over 2,000 individual reports since 1995. Their database shows clear patterns, Certain locations produce specific types of phenomena, and these patterns remain consistent over time. Understanding Edinburgh's hauntings requires understanding its history. This is a city built on layers of human suffering and triumph, where the past refused to stay buried. The plague years of the 16th and 17th century saw entire families sealed into their homes to die. The religious persecution under Bloody Mackenzie filled the graveyards with victims. The Victoria Age brought overcrowding, poverty, and disease to the underground spaces. Each of these historical traumas correspond to documented paranormal activity. The plague victims in Mary King's Close, the Covenanters in Greyfriars, the forgotten poor in the Southbridge Vaults. What we're seeing isn't random supernatural activity. It is the past asserting itself into the present, concentrating in a city where history literally lies beneath our feet. Edinburgh's hauntings represent something unique in the paranormal world, a documented, systematic pattern of supernatural activity that spans centuries and continues today. This isn't folklore or legend, it's an ongoing phenomenon studied by scientists, documented by officials, and experienced by thousands of witnesses. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the sheer weight of evidence from Edinburgh dem- demands attention. The consistency of the reports, the correlation between historical records, the scientific documentation, it all points to a city where the boundaries between the past and the present has worn remarkably thin. Edinburgh doesn't just have ghost stories, it has supernatural ecosystem that as much as part of the city's character as it is castle or its cobblestones. That's our journey through Edinburgh's documented hauntings. If you enjoyed the deep dive into Scotland's supernatural capital, remember to check out the Common Historian YouTube channel, where our top 100 haunted European countdown is just getting started. Holyrood House Palace at number 100 is just the beginning. We've got 99 more chilling and tingling locations to explore. Subscribe to the podcast for more episodes exploring the intersection of history and the unexplained. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember sometimes that the most incredible stories are the ones that actually happened. Good night.